Hey there, this is Logan Crockett with Full Circle Music. I am coming to you from our recording studios here in Nashville, Tennessee, and we are here today to answer your questions about the music industry. So you guys asked, should you go to college for songwriting? And I'm going to give you a very simple answer and then I'll explain it a little bit more. So the very simple answer is, in most scenarios, probably not. I personally went to college. I got a music business degree. And while I was there, I had some songwriting classes. And I don't want to underplay the value of that at all. I think that those classes and that experience was really great. So this isn't a critique of college as a whole by any means. This is very specifically a critique of if you want to go to college specifically for songwriting. Because the great thing about college is you go to college and you get a degree, and then hopefully, and most parents certainly hope for this, hopefully you then get a job after that, which is great. The catch with songwriting is there are no, I mean, outside of very few exceptions, there aren't really, quote, employed jobs with songwriting. You can't just go up to some music publisher and say, hey, I have this degree in songwriting, give me a publishing deal. That is not going to fly, not ever. And even if it did fly, the way that finances work in the music industry, even if you did get a publishing deal right after school, you probably wouldn't get that many cuts in your first year. And even if you did get some solid cuts in your first year, it probably would make you less money than you think, for one. And for two, you wouldn't see any of that money until, in most cases, the second year. You kind of write songs in the first year, and then you might actually, it takes a while for those songs to actually get released, and then by the time they're actually making money, and then by the time those royalties actually come back to you, I mean, it could very well be honestly, if royalties get back to you a year after you wrote the song, you might be doing pretty well. So there's just not, songwriting literally as a career is just not something that has one of those traditional paths, like get a degree and the degree gets you the job kind of thing. So that said, I mean, I think there are so many valuable things about college. But just to kind of give another point, we have this podcast called Made It in Music, and I made a very similar point. We have another video about should you participate in songwriting contests, and I explained some of these ideas there. If you want to check out the songwriting contest video, I will have links for that, or a link to that down in the description below. But specifically, on our podcast, we've had so many guests on our Made It in Music podcast. I'll also have a link to the podcast down below. And that, just out of all the songwriters that we have on there, I can't think, I could be wrong, but I can't think of a single guest who's mentioned going to college specifically for songwriting as something that that they really felt like propelled their music career forward. So I guess I would ask, is your main goal, do you really want to become a songwriter? Is that what you're really trying to do here? Because the main thing that you need to do, if that's what you want to do or want to become, is a songwriter, then you just need to be insanely good at songwriting, first of all, and you need to have practiced it a lot. You need to have literally written hundreds of songs. And so if you are considering going to school for songwriting, I would ask this. First of all, when it comes to songwriting, again, you need to have written hundreds of songs. You need to have demos for a lot of those songs. You need to understand how to make demos. You need to hopefully be able to make demos completely on your own. You also need to be able to meet other professional songwriters and publishers. And so you can ask yourself, is the school program I'm going into that offers songwriting, is it going to accomplish those three things? If I get out of the school program, will I have written hundreds, plural, of songs during this degree program? Will I have the skill set and capability to make demos, and will I come out of this program with a lot of demos in hand? And if you want to know what a demo is, we have a video on that. You can find that in the description below. And so will I have a whole lot of demos through this program? And then will this program enable me to meet a lot of professional songwriters and publishers? I mean a lot, like 25 at least professional songwriters and publishers, because this industry is all about networking. If you can think you're the best songwriter ever, you might be the best songwriter ever, but if you don't know anyone who is in Nashville, New York, or LA, or whatever, has publishing deals, working with publishers, working in this kind of stuff day in and day out, it will still be so hard to get your foot in the door. So if there is some sort of college program out there, I'm not aware of any, but if there is some sort of college program out there that can meet those 3 criteria, then hey, it might actually work out. But the problem is almost every college program, specifically in songwriting, that I've ever seen, unfortunately does not meet those 3 criteria. A lot of times songwriters go through stuff like that and they come out with 20 songs, not hundreds, and maybe like 5 of them are demoed, and they still don't understand how to make demos on their own, and they haven't made any real relationships with publishers or professional songwriters. Maybe they've gone to a conference or something, but they don't have any real relationships. And that's just the reality of most of the songwriting grads that we meet. That's just where they're at. So I do think that there are some advantages definitely to college, even in songwriting. And that would primarily be along the social aspects of meeting a lot of other professional musicians, being able to just pull them into a room with you to mess around with something. It can be hard to meet really talented professional musicians on your own. Outside of college, I understand that. So that is definitely an advantage to college to consider. But the biggest thing, more than anything, that I just really want to stress is if your parents are paying for college, or if you just have a full ride somehow and it just doesn't even matter what degree you get, hey, songwriting might work out really well. But if you, especially if you were to put yourself in a situation where you had to get student loans, if you had to get into debt for a songwriting degree, I honestly think that's the easiest way to ensure that you will never be a songwriter, because you will come out of school and you will not have a skill set that really can lead to a good, well-paying career. And if you have all this debt, especially if it's thousands, tens of thousands, even some people are over $100,000 in debt in student loans, and if you have that in songwriting, your best option is going to be waiting tables at a high-end restaurant, which could pay decently. But that'll literally be like your best option to pay those off, and you will have to work so hard to pay off those loans. You'll never get to pursue a lot of the songwriting opportunities that you want to. To pursue songwriting, you have a lot of things you have to pay for. You might have to pay for gear. You might have to pay for networking events to meet people. You might, if you're not amazing at demos, you might have to pay to have those demos made. There's a lot of things. You may need to pay for writing trips. There's so many situations where you're going to potentially need to spend money if you really want to be a songwriter. And if you don't have the means to do that because you're locked into debt, I just don't see how songwriting is ever going to work out for you in terms of a career. So don't go into debt. Overall, I wouldn't encourage you to go into songwriting in college unless it meets the 3 criteria I mentioned. So hopefully, if this is something you've been wondering about, if songwriting is the path for you in college, hopefully this gives you some good insight. Alright, thanks for watching. If you learned something, if this video was helpful to you, we really would appreciate it if you would go down there and hit that like button. It's super quick, super easy, super simple, and it does make us more friendly with the YouTube, so that would be awesome. But more importantly, we're actually doing a whole lot more videos just like this one, where we are answering the internet's top questions about the music industry. And so if you aren't subscribed to our channel and it sounds like you would love to hear our answers to some other questions, then please subscribe so that way you don't miss those. Also, speaking of questions, if you have any more questions, maybe there was something you weren't sure about regarding this video, or you're wondering about a completely different topic in the music industry, go ahead, go down to that comment section and write your question and let us know what's up, and we would be happy to get back to you and answer that, or maybe even make a future video about it. The last thing that I want to let you know is that at Full Circle Music, our team has created an awesome resource for you, totally free, and it's just a free mini training class that teaches you exactly what to do if you really want to have a career in the music industry. So if you would like to check out that free class, and again, it's totally for free, you can click right over here, and if you click on that button, then you should get immediate access to that class, and that would be really cool. Or if you would rather go and check out another video that answers a top question about the music industry, you can do that by clicking right up there.